Reshmi saw a job advertisement on the newspaper. She is very excited to give it a try and wants to apply. However, all that's listed in the advertisement is the job description and a phone number. To know more on the application process, she makes a phone call. Good morning, ma'am. How may I help you today?
Good morning. Is this X company? I saw your advertisement on the newspaper today and want to know how to apply for the position of a team leader.
Thank you for your interest, ma'am. In order to apply to the post, you should curious to know what the recruitment clerk said? Then watch this video to know more. We are sure you will learn a very important skill by the end of this video. Today we are going to learn how to describe a process. A process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. Describing a process is usually done by giving a set of instructions. Can you think of a few situations where you might need to describe a process? Let's look at a few examples. Starting a website. Here are the set of instructions you might need to follow in order to start a website. Contact a domain provider. Secure a domain name. Seek professional help from service provider. Purchase a theme. Finally, you create web pages. The next process we are going to look into is how to withdraw money from an ATM. Go to the nearest ATM booth, insert the ATM card into the slot, choose the language, enter your PIN, enter the amount of money you want to withdraw, finally collect the cash. We are also going to look into the process of how to bake a cake. Get all the ingredients for baking a cake like butter, eggs, cream, flour, etc. Mix all the ingredients well. Preheat the oven. Put the batter on the baking mold. Put the baking mold in the oven and note the temperature and time. To summarize, describing a process is pretty much about giving an account of how things work. By now, you must have understood the importance of being able to give instructions to another person in a systematic way. However, there are more than one way to do it. In the next slide, we are going to learn how to make our description concise, connected, and well structured. Sequential words help to understand what is the order in describing a process. Sequential words are listed which are used in the beginning, middle, and end of a process. It is important to note that not all of these words are appropriate in every stage of the process. So I've color-coded the starting, middle, and ending sequential words. Let's go through each of them. Here is a list of the sequential words and phrases which you can use only at the beginning of describing your process. They are to begin or start with, firstly, in the beginning, initially, first of all. Now let's look at the list of words and phrases we can use to describe a process when we are at the middle of the process. Secondly, after, next, subsequently, before, prior to, afterwards, then, later, while, meanwhile, following this, followed by. You can notice that these words definitely can be used in the middle of the process, but they won't be as appropriate to use at the beginning. Eventually, lastly, in the end, in the final stages, are words and phrases you must use while you are towards the end of describing your process. Now that you have understood and you have an idea of what the sequential words are, I would like to illustrate the same with the help of an example. If you want to create a PowerPoint presentation, you would want to follow the following steps. Pay attention to the sequential words being used while I describe the process. Firstly, open a new PowerPoint presentation. After opening the new PowerPoint presentation, enter content and paste pictures. While you are at it, keep adding slides to your presentations as per requirement. Lastly, save your presentation by clicking the Save button and choosing a location. Grammar structure. The grammar structure used are passive voice and other verb tenses. The structure of passive voice is object plus be verb plus past participle. Let's look at the first sentence. I make a cup of tea. Sentences in English follow the SVO pattern. SVO stands for subject, verb, object. Here I is the subject, make is the verb, and a cup of tea is the object. In active voice, the doer of the action, here the doer is I, is the subject. Make is in its simple present tense and there is no be verb. A be verb usually is am, is, are, was and were. A cup of tea, that is the object, is placed at the end of the sentence. Now let us look at the second sentence, which is in passive form. A cup of tea is made. We can notice that the object, a cup of tea, is now the subject of the sentence. The verb make, which was in simple present tense, is changed to made, where it is in the be verb plus past participle form. The subject, that is I, or the doer, is no longer important in the passive tense as we focus on the action more. Hence, the person is not mentioned here. The difference between the two sentences is the object, a cup of tea, is flipped to the subject position and the subject is flipped to the object position. Let's understand how to make tea. I will show you two ways of describing the process of making tea. The first one is, the kettle is filled with cold water. The kettle is put or placed on the stove. The cups and tea bags are taken out from the shelf. The water is boiled. It is poured into a cup. Sugar and milk are added to it. Enjoy a cup of tea. Now let us look at the verb forms used in all of these sentences. Is filled, is put, is placed, are taken, is boiled, is poured, are added. If you recall, in the previous slide we have studied the structure of a verb in passive form, which is be form of the verb plus past participle. Now let us look at the second way of describing a process. First, the kettle is filled with cold water. Next, it is put on the stove. Meanwhile, the cups and tea bags are taken out from the shelf. After the water is boiled, it is poured into a cup. Then sugar and milk are added to it. Finally, enjoy your cup of tea. If you look at both the ways of describing a process, we find that the first one is more mechanical and monotonous, whereas the second version is more appropriate as there is a flow. This is because of the sequential words like first, next, meanwhile, after, then, finally. This makes the second version a much better way of describing a process. Progress check. Look at the picture. Describe the process of making a mask with a handkerchief using the information given in the picture. With the coronavirus pandemic becoming the global phenomena, one should take every precaution to protect oneself while outside home. Surgical masks are limited in market, which is the need of the hour. In such situations, handmade masks can suffice the need. Now let's describe the process of making a mask with this handkerchief. Pause the video for a few minutes and try to write the process on your own. In the next slide, we will be showing you a sample of how the process is to be written. First of all, a cotton handkerchief is taken. Next, the handkerchief is folded from one side to slightly above the middle position of the cloth as shown in step 1. Subsequently, fold over the other edge to above the fold as in step 2. Following this, the handkerchief is folded again evenly from the middle as shown in step 3. After this, a rubber band is taken and is tied to the left side of the cloth as shown in step 4. Then tie the other side with another rubber band as shown in step 5. The area in the middle of the two rubber bands is big enough to cover your mouth and nose. Now one edge of the cloth is taken on the side of the rubber band and is folded over it. Also do it for the other side as in step 6. Next take one fold and insert into the other fold as in step 7. Your mask is ready. To wear this mask, each rubber band is put around your ears and ensure that the mask fits around your mouth and nose. Notice that the sequential words have been underlined. The sequential words we have used here are first of all, next, subsequently, following this, after this, then, now, and next again. The passive form of verbs have also been used. They are in bold. They are is taken, is folded, is tied, and is put. With this, we come to the end of this video lesson. We hope that you have enjoyed learning with us. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can find the worksheet in the description.